Hey Kristen, I want to give you feedback on your paper, so I have it up here. The first thing that I do when I grade these papers is I go through to see if you have used sources throughout your paper, and you have done that. I do want to address a few things with your citations, and that you're using the same thing in the sentence as you are at the end. So if the CDC, if that's the first thing that you have on your works cited page, which it is because I just looked, then it would be the next thing that you would put there. You've done that a couple of times on several of them, so you want to make sure that whatever you put in the sentence is not the same thing that you put at the end. The only exception of that is if you use an interview. That's the only one where you put the last name in the sentence and at the end, because it lets your reader know that's a personal interview. So I'm seeing that. I'll give you another example. I think you have this Oklahoma one. You've done the quote correctly. You've done that very well. You put the quotes in the right places, but you have the Oklahoma here and then Oklahoma here, so you'd want to vary that up and put the next thing that's in your works cited page. So that's the main thing with your citations. You have a very good thesis paragraph, you have a very clear map, and you have a good tone throughout this whole paper. I know you struggled with this because this is a topic that's really near and dear to your heart, and so writing the flip side of this, I know, posed a challenge, but you did really well with that. So you don't have a big grammar problem. I do notice a couple of comma splices, so let me point that out. Right here, once a child receives an ASD diagnosis, one of the first steps is to get them into early intervention services. First, you would put a comma here. Once a child receives the diagnosis, comma, one of the first steps is to get them into early intervention services. This right here is considered a comma splice because you are just the sentence following it is a complete sentence as well. These services can range from speech, occupational, and or you put a slash, and or physical therapy, and in most cases early entrance into the public school system. So you have two complete sentences, one here, and you've just joined them with a comma. That's considered a comma splice, so be careful with this or with that. Let's see here, scrolling down. When you have numbers that are smaller than 10, you want to spell them out. You've done this stuff correctly where you put the abbreviations of what they're for. There's quite a few in here. You've done that well. Make sure that you have a space in between your in-text citation right here. That might have just been an oversight, but go back through and look for those. Right here, you give an exact number. In 2016, the Board of Education approved 1,160 emergency certificates. That is 10 times the amount. And then you don't cite it. And what makes that incorrect, you do down here, but you start a direct quote right here. So what this is telling me is that this came from one source, this from another, so you would need to cite that. So make sure that you, especially specific numbers like that you're citing that and backing that up. So you've done the paragraph. I'm glad you put that in there. A lot of people didn't do that. You're using sources in every paragraph, which is good. So now let's go down to your works cited page. First thing I look for, is it in alphabetical order? Check. Did you use a hanging indent? Check. Did you put the date you accessed it? Check. Your works cited is good. I don't have any concerns about that. You went above and beyond on your sources here. I appreciate that. This is a strong paper. I hope this helps, so you know what to implement and some things to do and don't do in your next paper. But your hard work has paid off, and you should be proud of this paper. Thank you very much.